Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. Welcome to our program On Target. And as usual, as soon as we start this program, we invite you to pick up the telephone and call. Remember, we never have a subject matter. We speak about anything: politics, religion, socioeconomic issues trending. But the most important thing, you can introduce your own topic. You can introduce your own topic. You know, the number to call is 442-0175. And we're on RealFM 91.9, 91.5. We're on YouTube and Facebook. Give us a call. While you're contemplating picking up your telephone, I'm going to raise the topic: youths, young people, and children. Are you satisfied? Are you satisfied with the performance of your children in the house? Are you satisfied with the performance in the youths in your house and in the community? Are you satisfied with young people in your home and in the community? Maybe if you are of an advanced age or you are an adult, you're in a position to do the comparability. What existed in Grenada in yesteryear? The quality of the schools in terms of infrastructure, the building, the roads to the school, the utility, and the trained teachers. Are you satisfied? Today in Grenada, electricity, telephone, water, and internet is second to none, comparable with the best in the Caribbean and better than most. We have one of the best network of roads in Grenada, in the Caribbean. And I believe the quality of the roads is relatively good. We have moved by leaps and bounds in terms of discretionary income. Why do I say that? Over 50,000 registered vehicles in Grenada, around 100,000 people. One of your main suppliers of beer in the country. Have you ever thought about how much profit they make? How much people drink beer in Grenada? We have 100,000 people thereabout. We have some old people in it. They're in hospital, they can't drink. They have all kind of dietary problems. You have to feed them. You have a number of young children who don't consume alcohol. You have a lot of people because of religious belief, Adventists and Pentecostal and evangelicals and Jehovah's. They don't drink alcohol. They say, the Bible says don't drink. Strong drink is raging. Have you ever asked yourself, how much people in Grenada consume alcohol? With a population of 100,000, let's say 25,000, 30,000 are regular drinkers. How much profit do you think the beer company make? And one beer company we have, one main beer company, one or two people bring in some drinks. That company make more than $15 to $20 million per annum. Have you ever thought about it? In addition to that, in our education system, we have more qualified and well-trained teachers today than any other time in our history. And you have all kind of gadgets in school. If you see the big phone little children have, and I'm putting big in the sense of the amount of money you pay for the phone. It's easy to have a school child. Telephone costs over $500. And I'm not speaking about the operating cost now that you get from the money. Are you satisfied with your children? Is mediocrity the order of the day? Is your children working hard enough? Are they productive? Are they helpful? Is your children contributing to your economy? Is the young people in the community, do you find them productive? Are they working? Do they go to work on Monday? Do they attend work on Friday? The carnival season is approaching. And we're going to have fete after fete after fete. We have Juve almost every Sunday. Are your children productive? Ask the question. How many of your young men in the community shacking up? How much of them, when they meet a girl, they want to leave with her? All of them have women. No bother with that. And all them women, the majority of women have man too. But do they want to live together? Or do they prefer to live like tourists? When you visit me, are nice. When I visit you, nice. Well, if you're 18, 19, 20, 25, 35 years, 40 years, sometimes they have 1 or 2 children and child and a half. Every now and then you have one of 8, 9, 10. But they don't want to plant posts. They don't want to make nests. They say too much a responsibility. And it's fete after fete after fete. Are you satisfied? We have a new phenomenon that is invading our community. Violence. We're moving away from the cutlass, or we adding the gun. We're adding the gun to the weapon of choice. The weapon of choice before was the cutlass. So now we're adding the gun. We don't reach there yet, but we're adding the gun as a weapon of choice. Obscenities flying right, left, and center. The society becomes tolerant to it. They accept it. Every shop you go is bad word. Every community. Everybody cussing. Well, not everybody, but a significant percentage of the population. No respect for women. And yesterday, when you're growing up, you say Mary is the mother of God. And you have to respect Mary. And a lot of people took strong objection to cussing their mother. So if you say your mom, they say don't go home. And that could have caused fight in school. You cannot cuss somebody's mother. You can't even say your sister so-and-so. Fight. Nowadays, women are all cussing mother. Some long word like mongoose cutlass. Where are we going? Are you satisfied with the productivity of your children in your house? You have television, you have microwave, you have stove, you name it, you have the gadget in your house. Are you being productive? Are you satisfied? Every home would have different yardsticks. So I'm not saying what should be your yardstick. I'll be impertinent and rude. But are you satisfied? Your little daughters coming out to school. And there's some of them still in innocence. But they want tattoo below the neighbor. When you live in the community and you start to have so much tattoo on your body, and you don't have it for any religious significance. Yes, caller, welcome.
Hey, afternoon, Mr.
Yes,
Pierre. How are you?
Great.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre, again, I want to focus on the policies of this government. Mr. Pierre, when you take a look at in the mirror, I look at the policies of this government. The policies of this government is not to help the poor and the less fortunate people in our country, right? Not to help them, but it's to help those who have already, right? Because when you have a government that has a policy that to get to take out the little what the poor man have, struggling to maintain the family, and to take it from them by sending them home, and that what they was getting, instead of the increasing on it, making it less and lesser every day, right? Because you have where the prime minister was saying that I remember concerned to do with the board people on different boards. Yeah, 1,500 people signed to be on boards. But when you look at who on the boards, one person may be on five and six and seven boards. And look where are the young people instead of retirees that are on boards, right? Look at what is going on again with the people in the Great Caribbean People, the castle living going every day. The fishermen going to fish. When they come back to sell the fish, they're not getting the fish sell. Look at what happened with the vendors in the market. Look at what they are treated. You know, I always say, Mr. Pierre, there's some people that are doing something and whether they find not happy. If before you have police running behind them, get somewhere put them where they could be comfortable. It's like like a man have a house. You want to build a house, but then before you build a house, you mashing on the one that he had. So when you mash on the one that he has, that he will have nowhere to stay. Right? Remember the Andy Williams, I think, and Clyde was telling the people on the port that they go build some way to put them so that they could sell it things. So they want to build a car park something there. But before they build a car park, what they did, they gave them a letter to move out from there. Look at it again with the people that was working on the Grandma Estate. They've made promise to them that they go use it as to plant weed. What happened? They send them home again. Right? Look at the fishermen, the vendors, all of these people who was working and their life, or they was better, Mr. Pierre. They become more miserable every day. While they becoming more miserable every day because the little money that they had, they disappearing, and those who have already, they packing getting fat and fatter. And I call upon the greater people. When you see ministers coming and tell you, if they give you free thing, what they are doing. Remember, the Prime Minister encouraged them to go, give them the blessing to go in the bank and get loan, the Grand Development Bank and get loan. And they know definitely for the 5 years they weren't able to pay all that. So already they are interested to pay all the loan. But if you go back and vote for them again, the same thing that they continue to do to you, to we the poor and the people in the country, the same thing they go do. So I call upon the people. There's NMP is a party, a government in power. You live in some better, they make your life better, and NMP is an inclusive party. When NMP there, everybody works. They don't look at colors, but they look at you as Grenadians. So Mr. Pierre, have a blessing.
Yes, and it's a long time I didn't read a post. So I'll take this opportunity to read David Post. People choose their lifestyle. They have an issue, then they need to choose what they want. Healed or not healed. God or the devil. They can't have both. And I know from my testimonies what God has done in me, some people want but don't want. And another one, I'm a visitor in the country and heard many saying while walking about racial remarks. Well, I don't say because God fights my battle. So this gentleman with this post decided to leave it to God. And nothing is wrong with that. They say, let go and let God. My question is, are you satisfied? What is preventing our children from doing better or doing the best? 70% of the children that exit schools in Grenada cannot meet the minimum requirement. No educator could please with that result. And it doesn't seem to me that the majority of our women, of our parents, are hungry for education. So our children are going through the motion. And perhaps we should zero in, look inward, look at our children again, and ask ourselves, are you satisfied with the productivity? You have your boys in the community. Are you satisfied with what you're hearing? They're going in a party, they have knives. They're using obscenities in the presence of their parents. And they don't have to have an altercation with anybody to use obscenities. Now, if you don't respect your mother, who you expect to respect her? If among you are colleagues, your lineman partners, you're using the most objectionable language in front of your little sister, do you expect these lineman partners to respect your sister? It's a question perhaps we should ask ourselves. If you encourage them to dress without clothes, they forget all their clothes home. They practically volunteering to show you the tattoo below the navel. How in God's name do you expect your friends to respect them? Are you satisfied? You're 35 years old and you're unproductive. You don't even have a woman in the day. The last time I tell a fella that tell me you have plenty of women, I said not in the day. You have women in the night. Most of these relationships, none of them don't want to see one another in the day because they might have different owners. Where are we going? We have high unemployment in our country. High unemployment, particularly among young people. We have a government in Grenada that seems to be hostile against people from the lower income group. The language that emanates, that comes from the mouths of the ministers is demeaning, is insulting, is fractious. What is going to happen to our society? And the productivity level in school is unacceptable. It's a disgrace. I believe some of our educators qualify to shed tears. Are you satisfied? Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre?
Yes, my brother.
Good afternoon.
Yes, are you satisfied?
Mr. Pierre, do you believe in this country, you say you have much unemployment among the young people is high. It must high, Mr. Pierre. Because all the young people want to do, go sit down in a bank, do this, do that, teach.
You have to keep the phone near your mouth or something. Because you're going up and down.
Yeah, if they don't get a work, they don't go and do nothing. They all they want, they go in the agriculture, they go in the agriculture and do nothing. All they want, they can get a bank work, a teacher work, or something else. They don't want it. So the unemployment must high because they're too damn lazy. They can't do their own thing. Their parents are land, some parents are land. They refuse to make a little garden around the place. They all go sit down by the water and learn for the holy. And you come and tell me unemployment among them is large because they too damn lazy. So, yeah, I listen to Miss Daisy Hazard on a program sometime last week. And this lady, I don't know what's wrong with her. But to Mr. Pierre, this lady come on the program. And every everything the man say is true. Because she don't deny one thing. So everything Mr. Bartholomew says is true. And make it worse. That woman is a wicked woman. She encouraging the workers under she care. She tell them she had a back. So do what the hell they want. This woman is a wicked woman. I could never stop her and think this man. She don't deny nothing what Mr. Bartholomew say. Nothing at all. As she come there and she just condemning him. And she condemning what he says. So every single thing he says is a fact. Because she don't deny it. That you have a good day.
Yes, thank you, caller. Are you satisfied? We have to ask ourselves this question. We cannot believe at this stage that other people must solve our problems. We have to address the challenges that face us. We have to sit down and discuss the issue. With your children in your house, are they doing well in school? Your children in primary school, are they doing well? Your children in secondary school, are they performing good? Your 20-year-old son, is he behaving as a 13-year-old in the house? Is he contributing to the economy and the development of the house? He's not paying electricity, telephone, water, or internet. Mommy's still providing food for him. And yes, you should do that. And he by the road using obscenities, morning, noon, and night, drinking alcohol, unproductive, not learning a skill. Well, he have time, so he's going to make some children. Are we satisfied? What's about generational wealth? What is going to happen to the next generation or your children if at this age in their life, 20 to 40 years, according to they can see the way, when they will see it? What's about our school system? Every time you speak about the school system, the teachers, the educators, they blame the parents. Well, they are the one that went to university. They are the one that increased certification. They attended training classes, and they are the ones paid. And the curriculum that is set, them that know it. The majority of parents cannot even pronounce that word, including me. So when they test from what they teach, your 70% of the children are not succeeding. To add insult to injury, we have a government that come and compound the issue. They introducing that they made statement they would legalize weed. They did not legalize it, but they're flaunting the law with impunity and giving the impression that weed is legalized. And these young men looking for an iron dog to protect weed. And then you have guns, lap on cut. And the boys are more, they are not bandits. They're more showing off. Firing of gun in the communities and the public place. Are we satisfied? Whether we want to accept it or not, the fact is we have high unemployment in Grenada, particularly among the youthful population. And the dynamics is changing on the job market. So if our children that coming out from school is not equipped, they're less likely to get good jobs. Grenada is a buyer's market. foreigners would find Grenada very attractive. Maybe for the next 20, 30 years to come. A number of young people who would inherit their parents' discretionary income may not be equipped to maintain it. So even though they leave a big house for them, because they have a history of not working, they wouldn't be able to pay the tax and the electricity and the telephone and the maintenance. And the house could deteriorate in ruin or purchase. Yes, Colonel, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon. How are you?
Yes, my brother, welcome.
Right. The gentleman was making some statement there. I don't sure you understand. Because I know of people that because they support this government, they were sent home. Again, I've seen it. I know of people that they couldn't find any reason to say, okay, the person was not pulling their weight, so they sent home. The people that they sent home in the Grand Bay Estate, they had 30-something, they sent home so much and they called back some. Were these 30-something people not pulling their weight? I am saying that nobody should be sent home unless they break the rules or they're not working with the regulations, whether you support NMP or you support NDC. And if it was done under NMP, it was totally wrong. And if it is doing now, it is totally wrong. Nobody should be sent home because they're not supporting the ruling party. If the person not putting the weight or they can't do the job that they're placed in, I have no problem with you sending them home. But to send home somebody, take out somebody from a job because they are not affiliated or they're not on terms with the present government. And no worker that's working, whether it's NMP or NDC, should not bring into your workplace any discipline about a government. If you go to work, you do what you are told to do. If you're not putting your weight, nothing wrong in sending you home. And I've known of people that were sent home because a new regime come in. Not because they wasn't pulling their weight. Not because they did something wrong. So I think the gentleman have some question that he could ask. Why you send home 30-odd people in Granby? Right? If you boast that Granby Estate was the most productive, how come you send home the same people that was producing? Thank you.
Yes, God. We have to be concerned. This country is ours, and it's a small country. And if we give the habit of discussing issues, and we could always start in our home, because sometimes to make changes, you don't have to invent the wheel. They invent that already. You don't have to invent sliced bread. They invent that already. Sometimes to make changes, you have to start in your home. And I always encourage people, particularly parents, the onus is on you because it's your child. And the woman sure the child is hers. About 10 to 15% of men have wrong children. You give them a child, it's not theirs. I'm not saying you shouldn't take it, because somebody else must be taking care of you. But women on a whole, we have to have an attitude change by our women. They need to understand you carry a child for 9 months. Every tweet, every vibration, every movement that child made inside your stomach, you feel it. The man didn't feel that. So the bond that you have the child will be greater than all male. Particularly if it's an alpha male. You will have this bond with children. And between the ages of 0 and 14 years, that child may well spend more time with the mother. And I'm talking about generally. There are rare cases. So we must try to get our women more hungry for education, more knowledgeable, that education is the answer. But our children must be disciplined. They must be productive. If your son fighting in school and he did not do well and he cussing by the roadside, it increases the probability that he end up with a police hand. There's a good chance he might go to jail, have a record, have difficulties in obtaining a visa, even if an opportunity arises for greener pastures. You must know that. If your daughter dressing without clothes and they're consuming plenty alcohol and you're partying, there is a possibility that you might know who picking cotton. That is a reality. And I know people say nobody's supposed to interfere with you. That is true. But Israel and the Gaza at war. Russia not supposed to interfere with Ukraine. But Russia have 136 million people and they have nuclear weapon. Ukraine just have 36 million and they don't have nuclear weapon. So Russia believes she could interfere with Ukraine. In the same way, if you are a male, when Friday comes, you say, thank God it's Friday. And you take Mr. X's advice and you licks it. If you get intoxicated, somebody might take your wallet in your pocket. They don't have a right to do it. But the environment is conducive for that. So you have to have discussion with the young daughters. You have to say to them, if you forget your clothes home, when you go in party, and you consume a lot of alcohol, you might end up without clothes. And you don't know how much already. You have to say to your sons, if you go into party and you take a knife or a weapon, you will kill somebody. Or somebody will kill you. And you might end up in the police station. And the police might bust your head. And even if we take the police to court and we win, your head map already. Now the voices in the community have to speak out. You're not afraid, young people. Young people are bad. You're not afraid of them. But your voices, you must speak out and show them you don't approve of their behavior. Parents, you have to do that. The relatives, the same relatives that go in and quarrel when the police bust their head. Speak before they come afoul of the law. There is an upsurge in violence in Grenada. There is no need to panic. The government opened the genie bottle. I lay the blame for the upsurge in violence at the feet of the Prime Minister and his government. They cause it. But them alone can solve the problem. So you must hear the voices of the elders in the community condemning this kind of behavior, condemning the violence. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Good day, sir.
Yeah, my brother, welcome.
Very good topic. But I don't think we're satisfied with how things going. But I realize there is a breakdown in society, quite a lot. A breakdown. Because that's not the days when, like, you know, if a parent talk to a child, or if some other parents used to speak to children, whether they're children or not, And they go and tell, and they might even look to be the child, not a child, for doing wrong thing on the road from school. And they go and tell the parents, better they get mullet. Now, the parents go and cost whoever do it. Some parents encourage those things. Some again cannot stop it because you have parents that say, they tell the daughter, that's the way you're going on the road. That son back and say, Mommy, that's the latest now, that's the latest. The parents accept it in their house. The question is, some of them saying, what they go do? The children lifestyle change. So it's a hard task. I even, just last week, I quote a scripture for a child who was here talking to her mom. I said, look, child, read the Bible there. I said, read Exodus chapter 12. Honor. I said, you know what it is to honor? Honor thy mother and thy father that your days may be long. Because the children cussing some parents, they're cussing back their parents. I don't know if anybody could support that. That is a fact. Some parents just cannot make it with the present day children. I spoke to some young man last night. We have a modernized prime minister. Prime minister what want to imitate Morris. So even that, we don't even help. We don't even getting guidance from the top. I'm not saying they could stop. We don't even getting guidance from the top of it. So we're in a lot of problems in society right now. We're in a lot of problems. I don't know if anyone agree with that.
Yes,
I have a point to make.
Okay, go ahead.
Politically, before I want to say to Grenadians, do not, I heard it on the radio last week, do not compare the late Sir Eric Gary and Kit Mitchell's situation as the same. Sir Eric was overthrown. I was one of the youngest executive members in 1976. He was overthrown by the PRG. The PRG propaganda machine worked against him. He was overthrown. And when he came back, he tried to put his party together, and he had a problem. He was not, then he started suffering with his vision. And so he was not capable to really put everything as he wanted to do. I have people say about Dr. Mitchell want to bring the party as Gary. That's not true. It's a big difference. There is no comparison with the NNP and the GLP. Dr. Mitchell is strong and able to guide his party up to this stand. And nobody will come and tell me he wants to do as the GLP. I heard some people trying to make that statement. So asking NNP, do not echo that sentiment. This coming especially from the NDC activists. There is no comparison with these two people, right? It's a different situation, and I would never compare Sir Eric Matthew Gary situation. And I don't know if you agree with me. I don't know if you agree with me on that thing, but that's a fact. So anyone of you add to it, I don't mind. Thank you.
Yes, two powerful points. You have another call on the line? You had two powerful points made. Attempted to add to the first one. The second one, when you say there is no comparison, I don't agree with you. The policies of the NNP and the policies of the NDC was always similar. That is why these two political parties were the only political parties in Grenada to win election on more than one occasion continuously. Only these two leaders, the Grenada United Labour Party leader, Sir Eric, and Kit Mitchell, Dr. Kit Mitchell of the NNP. Both of them had a similar policy. Both parties took a lot of risk. They didn't afraid risk. They didn't afraid challenges. But they never abandoned the people. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yes, caller.
I don't like calling and sort of downplaying what other callers say. But if you look at Caribbean politics, the history of Caribbean politics, you have right next during St. Vincent. After the demise of James Mitchell, what happened to the NDP? It went right down. Same thing happened in Barbados. In Jamaica, it's all over the Caribbean. So if that's the fate of NNP, so be it. But I wouldn't agree with that caller that the possibility exists. And the way things going now, there's a very great possibility that will be the fate of the NNP.
Yes, so you have the political parties, and it's always interesting when people give comments. Sometimes if you're an NNP supporter, you take a strong position on NNP. If you're an NDC supporter, you take a strong position on them. None of there's only two main political parties in Grenada. The NNP and the NDC. The NDC is in power now, and when the NDC lose election, the NNP will be in power. The NDC have a track record of losing all the 3 seats, all the 15 seats. And that is the only political party in Grenada, major political party, that lose all the seats. GNP never lose all the seats. Mr. Blaise seat in Carriacou was a rock. The Grenada United Labour Party never lose all the seats. And the NNP never lose all the seats. So the only political party in Grenada that have the reputation of losing all the seats is the NDC. Why that is so? The NDC always have an aggressive policy towards the majority of people in the country. That is dumb politics. That is dumb politics. The people in Grenada who determine who wins election is the people in the lower income group. Anytime they recognize that, the party that seeks their interests, the party that is easy to identify with them, would win. If election is called tomorrow, I believe NDC will lose election. But NDC have about a year again to reverse situation and get it right. They have about a year again. Some people are questioning the fact that the NNP do not have the convention. The NNP have made some excuses, give some justification and reason why they did not have the convention. Some people don't agree with it. Some people agree with it. Some people quiet on it. But it's difficult to beat up on NNP for that. Because the NDC had 2 conventions in 5 years. So as a result of precedent state, because NNP, when you say to them about the convention, they say NDC went around for 5 years with 2 conventions. Now you coming to us about that. But the NNP have to understand too. Nothing is wrong if members of the NDC looking for cracks in your political party. Nothing is wrong with that. In politics, the opposition or the government will always exploit any crack or appear to or seem to, or they will make a crack for the opponents. The NNP have to give a time for the convention. They shouldn't let 3 years come and they don't have convention. They should have the convention within 3 years. And let it be as democratic as possible. Don't follow the NDC in the pattern. So politicals of the NDC, You don't have a ground to stand on when taking on the NNP with convention, because you have done worse. But NNP, don't follow them. Always set a higher standard. You should give a time for your convention, and you shouldn't let it pass 2024. You should have your convention and have it an open and as fair as possible. So there is no question of disrepute, or you don't dilute your party track record. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, on that subject that you you just speak on there, I think you have 95% of my support.
But what happened to the other 5? What did I say that those deserve the next 5? Tell me.
It might not be what you will see, but it might be things that are in support.
What you don't support that don't deserve the next 5? When a man giving 95, if a man say the majority, but when you say 95, I want the next 5. Go ahead, my brother.
But for certain, I support you that the NDC, the NMP, not having the convention is taking away a lot of the popularity of the party. It's affecting it.
It's affecting the popularity of the party?
Yes.
I don't
yes.
Get it.
The not having the...
You see, NDC didn't have convention for 5 years.
I agree.
So NDC members not in a position
NMP
to question that.
NMP should not follow NDC. You just said that, and I support that part of it too, I told you. But I think that the convention is a burning thing for the party. But NMP is still strong out there. They still have a lot of support. But I think...
But I think NNP is stronger now than even prior to election.
The convention,
yeah.
I think that is important. But they definitely, I can see that the NNP is still strong out there.
Yeah.
It's still a force to reckon with. But they have to come up with... You see, the thing is, even though you have a convention now, and you have a team pick, you're going to have problems still. That is one of the things that had killed NDC. When Mr.
NDC is not a good example. 6 months before election, NDC get a team.
Listen, when Mr. Tillman didn't have a team to play with, you realize what he did? He closed the parliament. He prolonged the parliament because he didn't have a team. We might end up something similar to that. It's important to put the team together, and it's important to have the convention. But NMP is still strong out there.
Yeah.
And that must be taken up and taken out.
Yeah.
It is important. It affected Mr. Tillman. He couldn't find a team to play. If you go in and they tell you 12 players you have to have, and you didn't have 12, you already stand to lose. So let us get 12 players first to play the match.
All right.
Thank you.
The only 2 political parties in Grenada that call election early was Eric Gary under the Gulp and Kit Mitchell under NNP. When they felt that there was disunity in the party, they said, let us go back to the polls and get a new mandate. That is the 2 most democratic leaders in Grenada. And we must know that. The 2 most successful political leaders, the 2 most successful political parties. The 2 parties that take the most risk for the development of the country. Whether it was risking new companies, whether it was risking independence, whether it was risking building 2 stadia, whether it was risking supporting the Grenada Invitational. The first time we had the Grenada Invitational was under the NNP, a private interest group. However, the government supported it. Now you're hearing that this government promised, they gave their word, or they gave their WhatsApp to support the Grenada Invitational And on the 9th hour, they walk away. On the 9th hour, they walk away. The Grenada Invitational was advertised in 142 countries, I heard. Athletes pledged, including the Grenadian top athletes, that they would come to the Invitational. People bought tickets. People are going and collect back their money. And the government abort the support. I'm hearing and I find it difficult. But knowing the NDC with a restorative justice policy, I'm not surprised. They believe the individuals in it, their blood was too green. They said that is one of the reasons the government walk away from the Invitational. And I've not heard people asking, NDC members are talking about, asking the government to speak on it. Say why. Did you promise to support them? Did you turn them down in the 9th hour? Did you consider the economic importance? The fact that you had free advertisement from 142 countries. Why did you squander that while we were celebrating 50 years of independence? Even that is more justification for you to sit down among your family members in the community where you are and ask, are we satisfied with our children, their behavior, their discipline? Are we satisfied with our youths? And remember, based upon the United Nations standard, youth is between 14 to 25. Some countries say up to 35. And our young people, are we satisfied? That might help us understand how we could end up with a government of 9 people that has worked hard to be qualified as vultures. That the action of raiding the development bank is unacceptable. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good evening.
Yes, my brother.
Yeah. Mr. Pierre, in the days when a community used to grow children, it's no longer happening now. Look at some of the children parents, the mothers especially. They are children in their own right, so to speak. Children are making children. So they are not, yeah. And as a result of that, they cannot control children. Look at what's happening now. It's youngsters that are going in jail, youngsters that are killing. When you look at a young fella at 22 years, his mother is about what? 35, 36, 37 years. And so how can we control? Look at the system that we have now. Facebook, YouTube, what you see there. The guns waving. Every little boy, little child has a gun. And as a result of that, no big person can talk down to a child because, you're getting either a cussing or a stoning. In those days where community, anybody could have talked to a child, it's no longer happening. So you don't expect children to be better off today with the system, under any system at all. Children would not be better off because they have their own idea and their own way of doing things. And as a result of people like you and me would hardly be able to tell them anything whatsoever. We cannot discipline them. Teachers, look at the teachers in school. A young boy raising up a teacher's frock in school, These are the kind of things that's happening today. So when you bring them to the principal, what do you think happening? What disciplinary measures, And we don't have the death roll as to execute people these days. A man kill a man, he gets 7 or 8 years. A a young man interfere with an underage child, he gets 20 to 30 years in prison. But a man killing a man is easy ply. He goes in prison, spends 5-6 years, and he comes back out. This is the system we live in. That is what the world is portrayed to be these days. So we have to be very, very particular and deal with issues so that we can avoid getting in confrontation with those youngsters. Thank you very much.
Yes, Caller. Caller, I believe irrespective of what exists, irrespective of the technology that is available to us and the information our children have, we as leaders in the community could open our voice. We shut our mouth, Caller. The Attorney General was jumping up and indicating, shoot Babylon, Bobo. You Attorney General, you premier legal advisor, you premier labor officer, supposed to be a model, jumping up in the air and saying, shoot Babylon, Bobo. These songs are advocating violence. The foreign minister was describing people as bad people and good people. The Prime Minister of Grenada was classifying people as beggy and classless. And the Prime Minister on 2 occasions publicly advocated, was implicit, and encouraged the use of objectionable language. The Prime Minister of the country was making movie with that which seems to be an illegal substance, to wit, weed. The Minister of Health was so disrespectful to a senior public officer, a medical doctor, a very dedicated community woman, the longest serving member of parliament, mad black woman. The Minister of Agriculture was calling people lunatic and idiot. When the people who lead you, those are the utterances, the words, the examples coming from them, you have to sit down and ask yourself, am I satisfied with the young people in our country? We have to believe we could address the challenges that is before us and we could make a difference. All of us is guilty and all of us have to do more. And tomorrow between 12 and 1, we will continue to punch.